You look wonderful.
I look fuzzy.
We're live for episode 3,
Go.
the all switch edition of the Go Game Go show.
Hot diggity. What's that?
What's that?
We got a guest with us today.
Oh, that's right. We got a guest, Logan.
Yeah.
Our first guest ever.
Yep.
How's it going?
It's going well, you guys.
Awesome.
I was waiting for the introduction. I mean, as a guest, I feel I need to be.
Do you want an introduction? Okay. Here's the short sheet on Logan. He enjoys long walks on the beach and in the rain and shopping, all on Animal Crossing.
That's
New Horizon.
all very, 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 very true. And in fact, has dominated my daily life for the past however many weeks since March 20th.
Tell me about it.
I know that's the release date. So
Tell me about it.
yeah,
Welcome to addiction.
Logan, when did you get your Switch?
I got my Switch the launch year, but not when it came out immediately. I waited until November, I want to say, of 2017. So I wanted one very badly, but when in 2017 I was not quite at the money-making level that I was at later in the year. So when it came out, so I just didn't feel like I was ready to go. I didn't feel like I was in a financial. It didn't feel like a financially responsible decision at the time. So I just said, I'll wait. I'll be patient. I know there's a killer app for this thing already, which would have been Breath of the Wild, of course. And I eventually bought one in November of 2017 and then proceeded to binge Breath of the Wild for the preceding weeks into our family vacation in Florida, where I should have been outside a lot more than I was. But I would wake up every morning and play Breath of the Wild on the Switch, and I would play it more throughout the day than I should have. I should have been taking advantage of the warm weather in December, but
It was really my fault because years prior, when he was a younger guy and living at home, we bought him the GameCube for your birthday.
I think so. It would have been Christmas, because I think, maybe it was birthday, and then a few months later we went to Florida, and so can we take the GameCube?
Yeah, that went with us. So that's probably my fault, but
maybe a little.
Yeah. But, Logan mentioned to me about what maybe one of the first games were that I had him play, or, put him in front of to play when he finally was big enough.
We should probably also mention that I am your son. I don't know if that was mentioned.
What? Okay. I don't know when that entered in, but
I'm not entirely sure we said that. So
I'll take it. I'm sure I did. Anyway, but maybe I didn't. So anyway,
I am Stuart's son, Logan.
This guy, I know this guy. So yeah, but I'm not sure. I know I was into, it was the early 90s and then mid 90s by the time you would have been really playing anything. Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure it was Mario or,
I want to say one of my first gaming memories that is even a little bit, nice, Jeff. Nice.
I feel like we're on that thing you do. It should say, "Don't worry about it, girls. He's married."
Right. So one of my first gaming memories, I think, and you can just correct me on this. We didn't move out of that first house that I lived in until 2000, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I want to say in '98 we had an N64 at that first house. Yeah. And I remember watching you play and trying to play that at about 8 or 9 years old. Do you remember if we got that game? That's one of the other questions. I mean, I have a lot of memories of playing these games, but I also have gone back to play games. So my memories are actually very muddied with old games. Did we buy Ocarina of Time on release day in '98, or was it '99? I want to say it was '98.
Yeah, we got it on par. It was, I remember, Jeff, didn't you mention in our first episode about Sears, getting games at Sears? Did you?
Atari games?
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned shopping some video game stuff at Sears and getting.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I was talking about the handheld games, electronic stuff.
Right. And so that was, I almost mentioned it then, but it's more apropos that I mentioned it now that Logan's here. Sears saved my ass one Christmas because I could not find the Game Boy stuff that he wanted. He wanted the Game Boy, and it was which one? Do you remember?
I'm sure it was the Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color is what it was.
Yeah.
And I was going to get you Pokemon game.
Yeah. Again, probably. I think the purple Game Boy Color was like the atomic purple sort of translucent shell classic Game Boy. I think that was my first Game Boy.
So I couldn't find it anywhere. Toys R Us was sold out. Everybody sold out. And I said, you know what? Sears has a toy department. And I just walked right into Northwest Plaza. Yeah. Northwest Plaza into the Sears and went to their toy department, and I'll be ding dang. They had plenty of stuff. I'm like, you just saved me. Thank you. My son, Merry Christmas. So it was
you were nearly on a Jingle All the Way situation, huh?
Yeah, right. But it was, that was some of the earliest stuff. I mean, Logan was, I was doing the reviews of all the different games when we were talking about that last time with the Data East games and, the Konami games and the Capcom games, all that stuff. So Logan was around for that. One of my favorite Capcoms that I remember Logan being around for was the Little Nemo game. And as we move along, I want to do a small little snippet of things to add in to places during the week. And that's one of the games I'm going to be throwing into play. That one and Bionic Commando on 8-bit system. Ooh. Yummy.
Nemo.
Yeah.
I know about Little Nemo. Yeah. Right. You've mentioned the cartoon. It's like the very old cartoon.
Yeah. Jeff and I were at CES and they were promoting it and the film was coming out.
I see.
As well. So
this would have been 90, it says.
Yeah. So to finish up your introduction so we can move on to the Switch thing, you were talking about you like indie games? Yep, there you go. Dream Master, Little Nemo, Dream Master.
Yeah, I'll just rifle it off here a little bit. So in general, because we're talking about the Switch tonight, I have always been a huge Nintendo fan, and that is in large part due to the decisions that you had to make, Dad, to what consoles to bring into our house, right? And I think in a lot of ways, Nintendo's very trusted for kids, right? Like you can just trust that they're going to have games that kids are going to like. I think has always been kind of their biggest selling point for parents. So I think as a result, and I mean, I grew up in, for me now, prime nostalgia is things like Pokemon and I guess Mario a little bit. Honestly, we never really, it's so funny in our house and friends of mine that are gamers that they are blown away by this, that I love Nintendo stuff, but never have completed a mainline Mario game in my life. Just never have. Never did that.
Yeah. And we've had them. I mean, I've got the original.
We've had Super Mario World. We've had, I don't think we ever had Mario 64. But like we had some Mario games and I just was never very interested in completing those platformers, which is fascinating to me because I say now, I very much respect the legacy of Mario. Like the ways in which the Mario games influenced other games, including a lot of indie games and stuff like that. Yeah. I totally respect. So always been a huge Nintendo fan. I've owned or played on every console and handheld since the NES, minus the Wii U. I did not get a Wii U. But
did you get one, Jeff?
Who did? Am I right?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
I think there was a lowest selling console for sure.
Did you play Mario Odyssey on the Switch?
Well, so I borrowed it from a friend and then subsequently I've had to give it back because I kept it for 6 months and didn't hardly touch it. Again, another one of those things. I know that's a great game. I'm not going to try and say it's a bad game. It is a well-crafted, beautiful, tight controlling game that I just for some reason have not looked to play. So maybe that's a big demerit on my part for sure.
There's a level in there called New Donk City. It's all based on Donkey Kong stuff.
Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. The end of that level is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in video games. It was just amazing.
I would like to actually try my hand at it again, but we'll have to see. I don't know. Like it's a matter of making time for it, right? Like so these days I play most of my games either on the Switch or on PC. I do not subscribe. Last time you guys talked about the new consoles that are coming out, including the Series X and the PS5, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And personally, I'm not interested in either of them because I game on a PC, and I've recently actually just added a new graphics card to my PC as of last year. So I'm no longer looking to really. I'm definitely not looking to like get into the console game anytime soon. Mostly because everything comes to PC except for PlayStation exclusives, for which I've actually considered this year when the PS5 comes out. I'm hoping for, crossing my fingers, that a PS4 Pro might dip down, on steep discount, and I can snag one up for cheap and
probably will.
And play a bunch of exclusives. I mean, because again, I totally respect Sony's exclusives. They kill the game in that respect. There's a lot of games that I would love to go back and play. And then, but yeah, as far as the kinds of games I play like a lot of indie games is what I mostly look forward to, and I'm really choosy about the AAA titles that I play, except for Nintendo. I would say I'm more of a Nintendo fanboy, and I pick up the Pokemons a lot of times. I pick up the Smash Brothers, the Animal Crossing, as we were kind of talking about before.
Yeah.
And I'm really choosy about AAA titles that I pick up that aren't Nintendo related. And I mostly just look forward to indie games because those are usually smaller experiences. They're not always burdened by looking to be the biggest and the best. They're just looking to do something really interesting or really thought-provoking or something like that. And those have always appealed to me since sort of the indie explosion that happened around the late 2000s, early 2010s, I would say, is when that really started launching off, and there was a lot of great games starting to come out. People started giving indie games a lot more recognition.
I think I'm exactly the same way. I buy the big Nintendo games, almost all of them, not all of them. Like I didn't get Xenoblade.
I mean, that's a JRPG, and you have to be really into that as well.
I do like those kind of games, but I have played a previous Xenoblade. I wasn't thrilled with it, so I didn't bother with this one.
Yeah.
But I usually buy all their top games, and then the rest is pretty much all indie games.
For sure. And I mean, this thing is an indie dream, honestly.
Yeah.
Like to be able to just pick this up and play like a lightweight game quickly, it's very reminiscent of the Game Boy era to me in a lot of ways in that way, because it's you're able to just kind of boot it up quickly. It doesn't need a long time to load, and you're just kind of in there in the action. A lot of indie games aren't looking to be very convoluted. They're looking to put you right in.
Unless you're in a hurry to sell turnips and you got to watch that little icon the island with the palm tree, you're going, could you just get me in?
Yeah, I got 5 minutes to sell turnips. I could talk a full hour about Animal Crossing, and I could talk a full hour and a half about the online issues that game has.
We'll touch on those here in a minute. We can touch on some of those. Let's get started. So you said you had yours in 2017. What about you, Jeff?
I got a day one. Actually,
which was what?
I think it was March 3rd, 2017.
Okay. I saw that you put the Ocarina of Time was the November 21st, my birthday.
Did you get it for your birthday? No, sorry, not to detract.
I don't think so, but I may have.
You may have picked it. I just wondered if you picked it up and it's my birthday, and also my kid might like it.
Yeah, I don't remember. That I don't remember.
So I'm looking. I'm just seeing. I think it is March. I don't see it. But I wasn't planning on pre-ordering it, and I've been following it the whole time. And it was I think it was in January, and I was sitting at work at lunch. Some of us were sitting there eating lunch, and I was going through Twitter, and I think maybe it was Best Buy. I don't know. Said that they just got some pre-orders in.
Oh,
and I was thinking the pre-orders have been drying up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it. And I was able to get one, and I'm glad I did because there was another pre-order after that. That was it. That was done.
wow.
So I'm glad I grabbed it when I did, and through Best Buy. I think I got Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild. I got Super Bomberman R and Snipper Clips at launch.
Those were three of the more notable titles back at launch, as far as I remember.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
Bomberman turned me on to Snipper Clips when we played together on the holiday when he brought it to Florida.
Yeah.
It was great because they have a huge big screen TV there. So we on what was it, New Year's, right?
Something like
We're
that.
sitting there playing Mario Kart 8, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, Bomberman, Jeff, speaking of that, I do recall I have very vivid memories of playing Bomberman at your house.
Yeah.
Like
Turbo graphics, I guess.
It would have been, I don't know. I mean,
You had it. I thought you had it for a different system.
Well, I pretty much only play it on Sega Saturn because that's my favorite version.
oh, maybe Saturn was what it was. Yeah, like I just remember. Yeah, it was a bunch of us just all playing Bomberman together. Like it's like the three games that I associate with you, Jeff, are Bomberman, Star Fox 64,
Yeah.
of course, and Asteroids because you had the Asteroids table.
Oh, that's right. I didn't realize you were at our house.
Yeah,
he lived there for like 6 months.
Yeah, it was like 6 months. No, it was like I remember I visited. I remember visiting at least two.
I remember a lot of food disappearing during that time period.
I was the growing boy, Jeff. What was that?
Why is my controller warm? I don't understand. Who's been playing my game?
It definitely was Saturn Bomberman because I had read about, because I love Bomberman on TurboGrafx, and I had read about the Saturn Bomberman game that was 10-player. I mean, mostly 8-player. And so I went around seeing how much it would cost to get this, and a Saturn back then was like $25, $30. And I got all the controllers for like maybe $5 a piece, and I got the turbo tap thing, multi-tap.
Right.
And then the game itself, just the disc, was the most expensive thing. It was like $35. So I got that, and then we started playing every Thanksgiving at our house because we host Thanksgiving. So we'd have 8 people all gathered around the TV playing, and we still do. It's that version's awesome.
I showed up for one of those.
That's right.
For whatever reason, I broke away and I came by your house because I don't know if it was because you were doing that.
I don't recall you doing that, but it sounds like you just want to get some Bomberman action in.
I just said, look, I'm going to go throw something away real quick. And then I drove over to your house. Where is your dad? I
don't know.
Said he was going to throw something out. It's weird. I don't think any of the Bomberman games since then have been as good. They all the 3D look and the tilted screen. It's like I want the screen to be flat, like just straight down. And then the Saturn Bomberman, instead of, you had 2 Bomberman characters, white and black, and then the rest of them were all Hudson Soft characters. Like Bonk was in it, Master Higgins from Adventure Island.
Yeah.
And it played great because you could see everything perfectly. Where when it's tilted a little bit, sometimes, I don't know, it's not as easy to get around the corners, or it's just always a little bit off to me. I wish they would just go back to the flat bird's eye view of the.
Yeah, you just have to learn to enhance what that is.
Yeah.
You want your gameplay to look the same, but enhance what you can within that.
Super Bomberman R for Switch is actually pretty good. It's gotten way better. They've had so many updates to the game.
And you and I can play that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should get that. We should talk about that.
It does go on sale every so often. I think for like $10.
Shoot! All right, I'll look for that then.
Yeah, Dad. I don't know if you wish list stuff on the Switch very often, but doing
Sometimes
that,
I do.
It'll email you when there's a sale on something you have wish listed. So
Logan,
you mentioned go ahead.
No, that's okay. What? Remind me again. This website is
Deku Deals. DEKU. And this has. Oh, here you go. Bomberman's on sale for $19.01 right now. But there's some. This is a great website for Switch.
What was the last thing you bought, Jeff?
I know the last thing I bought.
I guess Clubhouse games.
Yeah,
Clubhouse games. That was you.
Oh yeah.
Mine was that until I picked up a couple of inexpensive pinball tables recently.
Oh yeah.
And they're okay. There's some of the ones that you told me, Jeff. It's good to see those though at a cheap price and know what the difference is between the FX3 tables that you can get and download the first 3 for free on the Switch. So that's awesome.
Yeah, those other tables, they're
That's two.
terrible, but they're just not anywhere near as good as Pinball FX or Stern or any of the other ones.
No, I mean it feels like those FX3 tables are like they're like a digital machine, not like a digitized action of stuff. And have you changed the view on those tables to where it goes above?
Yeah.
Number 7's my favorite because I love exploring those tables and the things that they do on those tables. It's really cool. And that number 7 view, wherever the ball goes, that's where the camera will go. And I love that.
I just caught up on the latest. I listened to a couple of gaming podcasts. One is called the Giant Bombcast. The other one's called the Giant Beastcast. And they're the same company. They just do 2 different podcasts with different hosts. And Jeff Bakalar on the Beastcast was mentioning how they'd gotten a question about because he's really huge into pinball, has a couple of his own pinball machines that he's gotten up and running and stuff like that. He bought them cheap and got them up and running. And he was asked are video game pinball games any good for actually improving your skill? Which I was like, yeah, I don't feel like that's not the case. And he agreed that it wasn't the case, that it really helps your skill, your actual reflexes and stuff like that for the physical version. But that video game pinball is easier than actual pinball just because you're dealing with simulated physics versus real. But the key thing is that they can teach you the objectives of each board. So that's what's really important to learn about a pinball board, is to learn what the objectives are. Great. I'm no pinball expert myself, but it's been kind of interesting to learn over the years with him on that podcast. It's been interesting to learn bit by bit some stuff about pinball, because I never obviously wasn't around for the pinball era, I would call it. So though I do love to play a pinball machine when I'm at a barcade anymore.
I wanted to show you guys this success rate. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called the flip grip.
Yes, I have seen that. That's done by a fan gamer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's all of it.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Look, it's Pinball FX. You turn your Switch vertically so the whole screen fills up.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're playing handheld, you just put your Joy-Cons on the sides and it's good to go.
Yeah.
It's really cheap. It's like $12.
I've seen the main
Did you
thing
get it on Amazon?
No, this was a Kickstarter. I used the Kickstarter, but you can. It's probably at fangamer.com if you go there.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Fangamer.
I'll find it for you.
This is what it looks like. It's literally just.
Oh, it just fits around the back.
Yeah.
You slide it in. There's only one way it goes, and you slide it in, and then there's rails for the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
So they go right there.
Yep.
And this works for any game that you can rotate the screen.
So, like I've seen people use it for bullet hell games.
Where you're a lot for those for this. It's they're great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect for pinball games, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I bought some more of those FX3 games. They're pretty cool. Jurassic Park, and I still want to get the monsters. I think I've mentioned that before. And if you have Super Mario Odyssey, you do, Jeff?
Yeah.
Can I borrow that sometime?
Sure.
Thanks. Logan, you mentioned something about it. The Switch. It's not region locked.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. Jeff, are you familiar with region locking and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I've got a Japanese account.
Oh, there you go.
And
in fact, Dad
Jeff,
was telling.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Well,
Jeff,
no, I was going to say you were just telling me about this with Jeff.
I know, but Jeff, someday I got to fly to Japan with you. I have this feeling we'll get off the plane, and it'll be like the Beatles getting off of the plane here in America. They're just going to somehow know who you are. They'll be like, "Gogamego."
I
may not be back.
You won't. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, with region, Dad was telling me the other day, Jeff, kind of in the lead up to this, that he remembered you importing games from Japan to.
Yeah, on the first one ever was Nintendo 64. I imported King of Baseball.
Right.
Oh.
But
it wasn't in English.
Right. No, it was completely
well, yeah, if you import a game from Japan, it's gonna be in Japanese.
I know. It's just
it was in German.
It's not in English. They make it in Japan. They won't make it in English.
That's what I love about Jeff. It don't matter.
Well, what's funny is you when you're playing it a lot, you start to figure out the menus. And actually, I have got a Japanese baseball game for the Switch. What's it called? It's like the most popular one right now. I can't remember the name. But yeah, I had that. That was a great game. And then I got a lot of Japanese games for the Dreamcast.
Yes.
Nintendo 64, you just needed a cartridge that slid in first, then you could play it.
Oh.
Dreamcast had to be modded, or you could use, there was a disc you could use that you'd swap out. And then, I have some, I've got some Japanese games on here, some smaller ones. But what's really cool, if you get a Japanese account, you can download their Japanese NES and Super Nintendo apps, just like we have here.
Yeah.
For the most part, they're the same games, just the Japanese version. But the NES version, or NES for Japan, has this. They do have at least one that's unique. It's Joy Mech Fighter, and it's this game here. You can't really tell because it looks goofy, but it's a fighting game, one-on-one fighting game. But it's really good.
Really?
I was shocked at how good it was. So it's definitely worth, I think, creating a Japanese account and even a UK account.
How much more are those? What's your How much is the Japanese account?
Oh, it's free.
No, it's with your Nintendo Online. You can just you're already subscribed, and then you just create a Japanese account or a UK or a European account.
Well, it looks like that's what I'm doing.
Because those two are free, and there's a handful of unique games on there. For the most part, they're the same.
And that's all that matters to me. I mean, I'm a cheap guy.
I'm a cheap guy.
I'm a cheap guy, cheap and easy. That's me. And I was just messaging Logan the other day. I go, "Hey, have you seen this Brawlhalla?" And I don't remember what you said.
I was just like, "It's just bad Smash."
And I'm like, "Well, what's so
but
bad?"
It's free. And I'm like, "Well, you get what you pay for."
Well, that's not quite what you said. You said it was really nasty. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, actually, when I said that it was free, he goes, "Well, there you go," or something like that. It was just very
passe. Just like, yep. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it?
So there you go. I mean,
to be fair, I've never tried Brawlhalla, but from whatever I remember, it was one of the ones that leading up to the release of Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Switch, people were like, well, if you're just really craving a Smash type game on the Switch, prior to the release of Smash Brothers, this Brawlhalla you can try. And I was just like, I would rather just wait for Smash Brothers to come out, or I will go hook up my GameCube and play Melee.
Now, well, have you guys seen this?
Yeah, it's an 8-bit DOE controller, right?
Well, it's not a controller; it's a adapter for.
Oh, sure, an adapter.
You can plug in old Wii controls, like the classic controller here, or on this end, you can plug in a GameCube controller.
Yep.
And it connects to your Switch, and so it allows you. You can just like plug your GameCube controller into this, just sit it next to you, and play Smash on Switch.
Yeah. So when Smash came out, or just prior to when Smash came out, they released the official GameCube adapters from Nintendo, which were just the wired plug-in that have 4 GameCube input slots. And so I was just like, you know what? Just for the heck of it, let's go for it. And it's like $20. I'm like, I'll get one. I even like pre-ordered it because I knew those things just like sold out. Because there's a big, Smash Brothers has a big competitive scene, or relatively big competitive scene. So, and they all like to use GameCube controllers like maniacs. And I don't get me wrong, I love the GameCube controller. I'm very nostalgic for it. But I also completely understand that it is not the ideal controller. So,
yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed having it. I got that. You're talking about the one that I just got, that I was just talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you did just pick one up. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I like it because I'm cheap, but I'm a classic guy. But I'm also cheap. It was $20 at Walmart. So
it's a control scheme you're very familiar with because we
exactly
a lot of Mario Kart Double Dash in your house.
It does play though to my because I know it. I get confused, when I'm looking at all the stuff on the rack of all the different controllers I can get for the Switch, and they have the bulkier ones, which are more like an Xbox thing where it's a little more bulbous in your hand. I just don't like that ergonomically. And then I saw that controller. I was like, hey, that's really cool. And you go, oh, you're looking at the GameCube controller. I go, oh, yeah. It says right up on the box there, GameCube.
I was going to say that, yeah.
It's like, you're right. That's it.
Yeah, I got my Wavebird to work on my Switch to play Smash, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever. I love this. But I only play I usually don't use it, honestly, anymore. But if I am going to use the GameCube adapter, it is pretty strictly to play characters that were only in Melee on the GameCube. Because like playing Young Link, for example, who hasn't been in the series since Melee, with a GameCube controller, feels like I've been transported back to the GameCube days. Like they made it feel exactly the same. And so anyway.
We were just talking about those the NES and the Super Nintendo online apps. Logan, have you gotten either of these?
No, I did not pick up either of those. But what I have proposed to Dad and thought about doing in the past, which you maybe would be more into now, is getting those 8-bit DOE. Jeff, have you seen those 8-bit DOE conversion kits that they sell? Where you can get the board, which comes with an I/O port for the back for the inputs. That you can literally transform an old controller into a wireless like SNES controller or an NES controller.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
or Sega or like Genesis controllers too. The same thing.
Yeah.
So is their mod kits?
Yeah, they're mod kits. That's it. So I presented this to you once, Dad, and you may have dismissed it out of hand.
No, I remember, and I see it now here too.
Yeah, I thought about doing this and just asking you if you would be willing to part with just one of your SNES controllers so that I could have it and play or tinker around with one of these mod kits. So now I'm going to put you on the spot and ask, you want me? Can we do that? Maybe we can make it like a dual project. You could do one at your place, I could do one in mine.
I mentioned I think your birthday's coming up. So
the birthday is coming up. That is true.
What if I just bought you one of those?
One of the ones that they do?
Yeah.
I mean, I would want to do the mod kit, honestly. Like, I would want to take one of your original.
No, I mean, like one like Jeff's got.
One like Jeff's got. No, yeah. See, I wouldn't want that. I would want to make one of your original controllers that you had in our house into a wireless controller. Because not only, here's the other thing. Here's the crazy bit. Those controllers work not just on Switch, obviously, but also on PC. So if I wanted to play if I wanted to play emulated games or something like that on my PC, which I do occasionally, I could use an actual SNES controller from my childhood on my PC. You know what I mean? Like that's, to me, that like is mind blowing. Not, of course, also on the Nintendo Switch Online Super Nintendo app as well. So,
right.
Which, yeah, I mean, I've been slowly playing through some of that with my friend Tony.
Yeah. Okay. So Jeff, you bought did you buy which style? Let me see your Super Nintendo one again. Did you buy the one? You got the Bluetooth. Does it have the 4 red buttons on the regular NES controller?
Wait.
Does it have the 4 buttons in a diamond shape? Oh, you bought that one. And does it have 2 black buttons on the top?
It's got it's got the buttons like you would for a Joy-Con.
Yeah, okay, on the top. Okay.
So it's
but then just the 2 red buttons over on the other side, right?
Yeah, just the regular buttons. And then when you hold these, are pretty much identical to the originals. They're not much different at all.
Yeah.
Obviously the tops are different, like Super Nintendo. It's got the left, right.
They added those bumper buttons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can't remember if these are Bluetooth. I know 8-Bit Do actually sells their own versions of these, and they're Bluetooth, so you can hook them up to other stuff.
Right. So those aren't Bluetooth. They come with the little USB thing that gets the signal.
I guess this is Bluetooth because it hooks directly up to it's wireless and hooks directly to your Switch.
Okay, because they have the ones. I'm looking at the 2-pack of controllers. Let's see. Maybe that's not it.
Is this the 8-Bit Do ones, are the ones that are from like Nintendo officially?
Yeah.
No, which ones are they, Dan?
I don't. It doesn't. I thought I was seeing it, but it doesn't say they're for the Switch.
Well, I mean, but I bet they work for it though. Like
I bet they probably would. They have the little PC 2.4 gigahertz USB piece that goes in, or it's an NES 2.4 gigahertz USB that sticks into the system and that connects with the signal from the controller.
Yeah. So yeah, this is this more 8-Bit Do, all their selection basically, Jeff?
Yeah, I think this is basically their controllers for Switch, and I think most of these work on PCs as well. Right.
I've been very curious I would love to hold one of those Super Nintendo style controllers that has the added analog sticks and the handles before I bought one. Like I would love to just like hold one to feel what it feels like.
Well, this one here, I got the cursor by
that's what I'm talking about.
This one, I don't have it, and I've never used one, but I've heard people just rave about this one. They say it's a great controller.
Yeah,
I love this one.
Wow.
I had thought about that one, but it's a little more expensive, but it also has I think it has like a home and a screenshot button like the Switch controllers do.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the 8-Bit Do M30 Bluetooth is $40 on Amazon.
Right.
So,
and this one they really like to boast how customizable it can be, and how you can the triggers themselves have sensitivity options that you can edit in like some software on your PC and stuff. It's kind of wild. I don't think I would really get into that, but it's cool that the option's there.
Yeah, here's the compatibility. It's a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, you were talking about modding a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, like taking one of your old controllers and effectively gutting it and putting just a new board in there, I think is all it needs. And I think you do have to do a little bit of cutting of the back of it. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I looked at the instructions, but
Okay.
but it's just interesting. I think it's really neat.
Okay.
I could, of course, probably just go and find myself a Super Nintendo controller, but
you can. There's a 2-pack of them that are it's another brand. I don't know who makes it, but it's generic makes it.
Right. No, I'm not talking about buying one. I mean, like getting one from somebody who's selling them on like OfferUp or Craigslist or something, where I can just pick up some old, like some of the era controllers and then mod them myself.
Yeah. So. That's what else I was thinking too. But I mean, we can talk about that. We can talk about that.
That doesn't like to part with his hardware. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, it's my stuff.
Understandable.
Yeah. It is.
Hey, Logan, have you seen this?
Yeah, that's one of the grips for the handheld mode of the Switch, right?
Yeah, it's the Satisfy grip.
A friend of mine swears by those things. Like
Satisfy grip.
Yeah, here I'll slide my Switch in real quick just so you can see.
Can you say that on here?
I just did.
Ooh.
It's already done.
Satisfy.
So what it does, it just gives you handles.
Yeah.
And it's probably hard to tell, but they're not symmetric. Like this one's bigger than this one. It's for your thumb.
Yeah.
And it's the best thing I've used for the Switch. It just feels great.
Satisfy with an E on the end. It's $30. And then you can buy it. You can buy the Satisfy the bundle pack for $50, just under $50. And it comes with it's the Satisfy, and then it comes with a case that you can use, that you can carry it in with the Switch in it.
The case is kind of cool to have because obviously you can just pack away as is.
Right.
It's not necessary, but you can pack it separately, but it is very handy.
I've thought about getting one. I do play in handheld quite a bit, actually. But it's, I don't know. I just haven't pulled the trigger.
If you're
somebody's birthday's coming up, I hear.
Well, apparently I'm going to get a Switch bundle. And I'm personally really looking forward to it. So
good, fantastic. My job is done, and it's all recorded, so I'll remember.
That's right. Well, not only will you remember, but you'll have to be held to it.
It looks like Skull and Candy makes a grip as well.
There's a lot of grips.
Yeah,
I like to Satisfy just because it's the non-symmetric look to it. It really helps your hand.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've realized that some of them can be sort of asymmetrical.
I think I've only seen symmetrical ones except for the Satisfy grip.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, and it comes in different colors. I mean, here's another bundle pack where you can get it in a turquoise case.
Very nice.
And it's more of a gray or a white. Did I say white? That's another one. Yeah. But no, that's great, Jeff. Thanks for telling me about that. I was not aware.
If you play a lot in handheld, it's terrific.
Yeah, I know that I have a Switch. I got it from this awesome dude and his sister and
your wife,
their mom, and it was fantastic. It's a fantastic system. I love it. I just haven't explored it as much as these two other gentlemen.
So you only got yours just this past November.
Yeah, it looks like the Zaddy, however you say that, Zaddy ergonomic grips has two different sides. So, yeah.
Was there anything else you guys had to say on region locking?
Yeah, Logan, what did we get into that?
Yeah, well, what's interesting about region locking is that it's been kind of a sticking point for a lot of people for a long time because if you buy like I have a friend, for example, who has lived in Japan and he's from the US, he's lived in Japan and he now lives in Spain. So he's like an American guy with a Japanese account living in Europe or something like that. It's like one of those combinations. And so
this is a person who's been to the place that knows Jeff.
I guess so. So he has a lot. So the fact that the Switch can go across borders now is great, because the idea of region locking, Dad, I don't know if you're fully aware, is that
I'm not.
Like games and game consoles in the past have been region locked, which means that they can't be played. I don't know if it applies to online games. Jeff, maybe you would know more about that. If like you couldn't play like online game, if you had an American Xbox in Europe, if you couldn't play the games online or something. But the idea is that you can't put a European produced video game inside your American console and have it work. That's what region locking is. Right. And I think it's more or less to prevent fraud and more or less to prevent pirating. Mm-hmm. So
at least on a mass scale worldwide, right?
Right. And the other great thing that a friend of mine, James, pointed out is that the Switch is also really great just in terms of not just region locking and that it's not region locked, but the idea that it kind of can go with you wherever in the world. Mm-hmm. He spent some time in Germany with his Switch, or I guess actually technically we both did last year, but he was in Germany with a Switch. You don't need a converter. A lot of electronics, when you travel abroad, you need a converter for, not just for the plug, but like an adapter that adapts to the charge that's coming through, the amount of volts that are coming through electronics, right? Yeah. And the Switch actually doesn't need that at all. Like you can just plug it in with a regular, just a plug adapter, and you're ready to go, because it can accept different kinds of charge, which is really cool.
That is cool. That is cool. You had mentioned something about one of your favorite features might be the sleep feature. That's one of the things you like too, right?
Yeah,
I dig on that.
That's just modern consoles in general, right? The fact that we can kind of go into a sleep state and come out of it into the game that you're playing, and even with Animal Crossing, for example, where the day is ticking by in real time, it'll still allow you to pick up more or less where you left off, depending on what time you come back to it. And just having the option to not have to quit out of something and save and quit something before you stop playing, you can just put it to sleep, and then in most cases come right back to where you were, is just a lifesaver time-wise, because that time loading in and out of menus, I feel like it just adds up. And so I hadn't had a console. I guess I don't even think the PS3 had it. I had the last console I had before the Switch was a PS3. So I guess aside from my 3DS, which was also a system that you could put to sleep. And just being able to have that with a lot of the games that I have personally played on it has been great. The one game that I can definitely say that I loved the sleep feature with was Hollow Knight. I don't know, Jeff, if you played that one. I know my dad hasn't gotten into that, but
I haven't played it yet. I actually bought it when it was on sale.
I highly, highly recommend it. Not only is it, to me, one of the more beautiful, art-wise games that I've seen in a long time, but the music is tremendous and the story is really interesting. And honestly, it just has really solid gameplay, but it's also like a very large game that has this large map that you're traversing. It's very similar to Castlevania, or a Metroid, or a Metroidvania, as the kids say. Which I stand with Giant Bomb in that is not like the best. I hate that distinction as a genre, because I don't think it's a very good name for a genre to portmanteau two different game series, Yeah,
it looks like Hollow Knight right now is $15.
That's the standard price.
That's standard price, and they got a new one coming out that's unreleased right now. It's called Silk Song.
And it's supposed to be coming out this year, and that's a game that I am looking forward to more than most.
I'm adding it to my wish list.
Good, you should. In fact, I'm such a big fan that when I got a free print from Fangamer, who we mentioned earlier. This is not sponsored by Fangamer. It's far as I know. But they send out free prints occasionally with like an artist series thing, and so it's just got this print that has like all the characters that you encounter in the game, and
wow.
It's just a lovely little print, and I bought this. It's a 3.5 3x5 print. So I just like bought a frame for it and framed it and put it above my desk because I think I love that game so much, and I saw a piece of art and I was like, I gotta do something with that because I think that this is a great little piece, and I had spent a lot of time with that game. For $15, I ended up spending 70 hours or something playing that game, like quite a long time, and I didn't even 100% the game. There is a lot more to do that I never did.
Did you get Celeste?
I have Celeste on my PC actually, and I started that this year.
I have one level left to go. That game is so hard.
Yeah, that's again, but a tight experience, very similar to Hollow Knight, I would say.
What's weird is my youngest son Christian. He has a Switch. He doesn't play it a lot. He mostly plays PC games, but he plays a lot of online team-based stuff. But for whatever reason, he is unbelievable at platform games, and I don't know why, because he never plays them. But I showed him Celeste, and he goes, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And he played a little bit, and he goes, "Can I get that?" And I said, "Sure." And he beat it in one day. And I was like, "What?" I said, "How did you beat it?" It was like Saturday. He played it all day, beat it. I was like, I've had this thing for like weeks. I can't even get past, certain levels. I'm like, he just whizzed right through it.
Okay.
I'm playing The End Is Nigh, another platformer on the Switch.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Really hard. And he didn't go all the way through, but I was just watching. He was just blasting through level after level. I was like, you don't even play these games. How are you even good at that? I didn't think he had a chance. I'd just be terrible, but it's like nothing to him. Like, man, it's just bizarre.
You did that does it. You have to hook up your Super Nintendo and put him in front of Maximum Carnage.
Well, that's not a platformer though. That's a brawler, right?
I guess I
mean, there is some platforming in the game. I remember now. There's some platforming that goes kind of vertical, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
So, Logan, you've had your Switch for a long time. I'm curious what games you really like that maybe no one else has even heard of.
That's an interesting question.
Trying to go through mine to see what I've got.
Let me try and stump you. Yeah, let me see if there's something in here.
What are you talking about? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, have either of you guys heard of Wargroove?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
like Advance Wars.
Yeah, it's very similar to Advance Wars. Hugely enjoy that one.
I'll tell you what game I really like, which sounds silly at first, but is the old Hasbro Battleship.
Oh, really?
And it went on sale for like $3 or $4, and I got it. And they have a whole new mode called I think it's Commander mode, where the boards are odd shaped, the ships are odd shaped, and you have different powers. You gain like points throughout the game, and then you can spend them on different powers to unleash different weapons. And the best part is it's online. And of course, I was thinking, well, who else has this on Switch? Then I found out it's cross-platform between Switch and mobile. And I can,
that's right.
I can go on any time of day, night, doesn't matter. There's always somebody on to play online games with me.
I might buy that tonight. It's 50% off. It's $10.
It's just, it's just really cool.
Yeah.
I don't even play the traditional version. I just play Commander because it's a lot more interesting.
Okay, because is that a different one than what I'm looking at? I'm just looking at Battleship. It's the classic naval combat game.
From Hasbro?
No, for the Switch.
Yeah. Does it look like?
Let's see. What's it? Developer is Marmalade.
He's showing it to you right now, or was.
Let me see who the developer is.
This one is Marmalade Game Studio. Not Lady Marmalade, just Marmalade.
Are you saying Marmalade or Marmalade?
I say Marmalade. You say Marmalade.
You beat me to the punch. I was going to just say that.
Oh,
I don't know if I've ever had any marmalade in my life, but I've had a lot of marmalade.
I don't know.
Well, you'll want a little marmalade.
Are you looking on Deku deals?
Yeah.
I'll just look at that. This doesn't show you who developed the game. That's really weird.
Well, while you're doing that, 2 games that I love quite a bit. One, I know I've shared at least the soundtrack with you, Dad, before, which is Fury, F-U-R-I. That soundtrack is one of the best game soundtracks I've ever heard, personally. And the gameplay is yet another, it's very punishing, but very fun to get through. And then the other one that I would say I have on my Switch that I'm not sure a lot of people know about is Bad North. Have you heard of that one, Jeff?
I've heard of it. I've never played it. Not even sure what it is. I just heard the name.
So Bad North is first of all, Fury is like a boss game. Like it's a boss rush style game where you are just facing boss after boss after boss, and there's no like additional enemies. There's no extra thing to explore, no side quests or anything like that. It's straight ahead boss fights. That's all you're doing, and they are hard. Then Bad North is it's a little hard to explain because I feel like I know Dad doesn't necessarily have the frame of reference for this, but Jeff, are you familiar with a roguelike style game?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a roguelike.
I've got a few on the Switch.
The idea of a roguelike is that you are playing run after run after run, and usually it involves your either central character that you're playing or cast of characters or whatever dying, and then you're starting over from the beginning. Central character with some persistent progress that you're trying to make that is sort of either passive outside of your runs or something like that. That's the most succinct way I can think to explain what a roguelike is style-wise. But it is so Bad North's a roguelike game, but you're not playing just one character. You're moving on like a point to point on a map, and each point is like a combat encounter where you are a little group of knights or archers or pikemen or something like that, and you're defending against these invading Vikings, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I just looked at this game the other day.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's kind of it's a roguelike as far as the structure of the game goes, but the actual gameplay of it is very light, real-time strategy. So where you're commanding your units around the little map, the little islands that you're on, and you are trying to position them the best that they can be positioned to fend off the enemies that are coming in. And it's just a heck of a game. It's a fun little game that I think I don't even know if I ever actually beat a full run, but I enjoyed enough to keep playing over and over and over, just because the gameplay is kind of fun and interesting, and also has a really fun art style, I think. And
the art style, I think, Jeff, you'd really enjoy.
The sound design is really interesting. You have to really pay attention to what your surroundings and everything like that. So
it was Bad North.
Bad North. Yeah, Bad North. BAD North. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a fun one.
You were talking of boss rush games. Have you played this word's so hard? Mextermination Force?
No. I don't even know if I've heard of that.
You know Gunman Clive, that game?
Yes.
Well, that guy made this game, and it's just what it is you play as little guy, and you just go after one boss after another, but they're all like these big mechs or big robots.
Yeah.
And you just have to defeat it, and you have to figure out the weak spots. And a lot of times there'll be ways you can like jump up onto him and run around and hit him in the head, and have to get back off before he swats you down. And it's a really cool game. It's kind of a little bit of a puzzle game where you just have to figure out how to do it, but it's mainly action, a lot of platforming and shooting.
Yeah, it looks kind of neat.
One RPG I play. I don't know anyone who's even played this game. It's called Dandy Dungeon: Legend of Brave Yamada. It is as Japanese as it gets. and it's a lot of fun. It's a crazy looking game.
Yeah,
it doesn't play like any game I've ever seen before.
How do you spell that?
You can just do Dandy Dungeon, and it should pop up.
All right.
The cover art it's like A New Hope inspired.
Yeah, totally.
This is by Onion Games. They did this, and they did a shooter, a shmup called Blackbird, which is really good. But their games are really just very strange. But
yeah, Dandy Dungeon is $19 right now.
I think that's the regular price, isn't it?
Yeah, no sale. What'd you say the other game was? That
Extermination Force. It's Mech, MECH, and then STER.
Extermination Force.
It's just cool because you're facing these robots that are like bigger than the screen. You only probably see the top part of them.
Huh.
I mean,
$12.
They're really cool. It's really cool.
They also make, is it Blazing Chrome?
I've heard that's really good. I think it's like a run and gun type shooter. Maybe
Ride,
like,
Ultimate
Contra games.
Yeah. I think one of the things I did the other day, and this is a good thing to do if you just want to if you're just getting into the Switch and you want to check out some alternate games, maybe some indie games like you mentioned, Logan. You can go into the eShop and just kind of put it on you have different settings you can do for if you want action games or you want certain kind of games. But I did it the other day per cost. I put it in for the cheapest to the most expensive, and so there at the top is always free games. That's kind of where I went the other day. So if you never played Super Smash Brothers, if you want to get into something to see how that kind of works, Brawlhalla is a good idea. Just so you get an idea of, and the artwork on it is really good too. There's some good character artwork done on there. So
I don't mean to bring it down. I just mean like
no, I know. That's why I said you won't be disappointed. It's not like it's an uber cheap thing where it's,
my philosophy is always I want every game to be great.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to harsh on any game or game developers' vibes. I want every game to be great, and I'm sure that it is great. It's just doesn't interest me in particular.
Yeah. And I found the Switch has the great communication between folks. I give a shout out to my good buddy Sella tonight because she and I got to get on the islands together tonight on Animal Crossing, and I had some cool stuff for her from my island, and we just went over to hers, dropped it all off. She made a few things for me there, took them back, so it was a lot of fun.
Now, there's one game we've discussed, but not discussed the fact that Dad hasn't played, which is, I do believe, a crime, after even having only owned the Switch since November of last year, which is Breath of the Wild. And where that is a large game and, perhaps daunting in that fashion, it's definitely a game I feel like you got to play at some point, Dad. Like that game. It is a masterpiece.
Well, as we discussed the other day, your mom's been mentioning. Now, let us go this direction very quickly. Logan has a Switch. I have a Switch. You and your office, you have how many Switches in Jeff land?
4.
Because everybody in the family's got one.
Yep.
So that way, everybody, if they do
like some Switch lights as well in the mix.
No, they're all Switches.
All standard Switches. Wow.
Celia got the last one. I asked her if she wanted a Switch Lite, but she didn't. She wanted the
real deal
Switch.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not having if you want the TV functionality, I mean, there's really no other option. So.
Well, what's funny is your mother took over on AC so strongly that I said the other day that I guess I need to get my own Switch. She goes, well, actually, this is your Switch. I said, yeah, you're right. So you got to get another Switch.
Someone in this house is getting another Switch.
Somebody's doing it, and they're doing it soon.
And again, I could talk a full hour about Animal Crossing alone, but
we can come back to that maybe in a few weeks.
It's just an unfortunate part about Animal Crossing is that you can't have more than one island on a system, and I think that's just really restrictive in a way that is unnecessary. So that's all I have to say about it.
Kind of like waiting for people to fly in on their planes.
Yeah, that too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think some of that's intentional because they want Animal Crossing to be a slower paced game. They want, they kind of want to buck the trend of a lot of other games, which is like fast paced action, want to get you right in, get you playing, get you gaming, doing what you want to do. But, they want you to kind of take a step back and just do things at their pace, which I think can be cathartic sometimes, but I think it can be really frustrating other times.
So I go for the frustrating.
Oh, it does. Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately it goes that way.
Although, they do build in the things where like on AC, you get to, you can hit the B button or hold down on the B button to make them talk faster. You can,
sure. There are little improvements like that.
Yeah. Sure. And you can double pump the A button when you're crafting something instead of they're like,
but what they should allow you to do with crafting. They should allow you to craft as much of one thing as you want. If you have the materials for all the fish bait in the world, you should just be able to craft your 17 fish bait at once. That is unforgivable.
Did either of you see the fake Animal Crossing Direct about a month ago?
Yes, I did see that. It was somebody a fan created where it's just like all of the minor improvements that
everything they go off is like updates. I was like, oh, this is exactly what everyone wants.
Yeah. I'll send that to you after we're done.
Have either of you gotten into there's a lot of arcade games on the Switch, arcade archives, what they're called. And, I don't know, there's like one or two every month that come out, but they're old arcade games. And I know one of the best things is they have Donkey Kong. The first 3 arcade Donkey Kong games are all on the Switch. And I believe it's the first time Donkey Kong's ever been on a system as the arcade game. There's been like the NES version wasn't the arcade version. This is actual ROM.
Yeah, they have the arcade archives, $8 for Donkey Kong.
But it's the actual arcade game, which is awesome. It's the real deal.
Yeah, Double Dragon.
They got they have dozens and dozens of games.
Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden, Excite Bike.
They even put out Donkey Kong 3, which is
how
many people have ever even played that? But it's a great game. It's almost like a vertical shooter in a way.
Oh, really?
There's a bug exterminator, and you've got and there's like platforms at the bottom, and Donkey Kong's up top. He's hanging on stuff, and he's knocking things down. Meanwhile, bugs are flying down at you. You're trying to squirt them. And you're hopping around. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with Donkey Kong other than he's in the game. It's so different than the other games, but it's really cool.
Dude, Moon Patrol. Holy monkeys.
Moon Patrol. Where are the fans of Moon Patrol at? I guess right there.
Moon Patrol.
There's a new Moon Patrol coming out. It's on
Elevator Action. Oh crap!
You have such a thing for Elevator Action. Just like love that game. Every time it is mentioned, you flip out.
It's such a good game.
I'm not gonna disagree with you, but
I
think you're the biggest fan of Elevator Action that I know without a doubt.
I just can't believe I'm reading that. There's Bomb Jack. Tecmo Bowl. I should have said that a little different. Techno Bowl.
Yeah, anyone into old arcade games is great. Here's one of my Hooyan. I love that game.
What is it?
Hooyan.
Hooyan.
P-O-O.
Oh, Pooyan.
You play as a pig in a basket, and he goes vertically, goes up and down, shooting at wolves jumping down with balloons.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah, and when if they get to the ground, they climb up the tree that you're going up and down next to, and they take your baby pigs away.
Oh, that ain't right.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. It's kind of a shooter.
Yeah, I see it.
But yeah, it's a really old arcade game from like, I don't know what it's 83 or something.
So that's pretty cool. $8 for an old game.
Yeah, I just love that it's an actual arcade game. It's not, an NES version of it or anything. It's the
right. It's Frontline is on there too. Love Frontline. That's like a Capcom, right? Is that a Cap? I wonder who makes that. Is that Capcom?
Originally, I don't know.
Because it's like Combat. It's that, that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, check those out.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. You might find some good stuff in there, Stuart.
I will. I already found Moon Patrol, so does it get any better than that?
Oh, I was going to tell you, we were talking the Amico briefly last week. Moon Patrol's coming out this year for Amico.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeff, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Since you guys last time talked about how you don't like to purchase consoles when they're on their first iteration, you prefer to get them on the second model that usually is either a little beefier or a little slimmer, something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's a new something new for me, because I bought the kids, I bought them an Xbox One, and then I got a PS4 for me. And then 2 years later, there was better versions of both out, and I was like, oh, son of a gun! What? Now I got the crappy version.
Yeah, right.
That's how I feel.
My question for you is: how far off do you think we are from like a revision of the Switch, other than the Switch Lite, I guess?
I don't think. I know there's a lot of Switch Pro rumors earlier this year, and I never thought one was coming.
No, I didn't think so.
At least not in the way people were describing. They were talking about 4K and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, Nintendo's about doing stuff as cheap as they can. There's no way they're going to have a $300 Switch and then a $400 Switch. They're just not going to do it. I mean, though there'd be plenty of people who'd want it, but I don't think enough. They don't. I don't know. They did a slight revision of it. I guess they increased battery life, and it's
increased the battery life. That should be the version that you have, Dad, is the one with better battery life.
It's been doing good so far. I haven't had any issue.
Other than that, I kind of think they'll stretch it as far as they can. I think if they can get away without doing a Switch Pro thing, I think they will. I think they might just roll into. I would assume they're doing a Switch 2. I know Nintendo's pretty wacky about their systems.
A new Nintendo Switch, you might say.
Yeah, the new.
That's what they like to do. They like to add the word. At least recently, they like to add the word "new" on the front of things,
like New Coke.
In fact, yeah. Well, actually, that's something to talk about. I should mention earlier this week they announced the new Pokemon Snap game, which is
I saw that
humongous for fans of the original N64 one, because there literally has not been another one since the N64 days.
That's crazy.
It's wild, yeah. And like people have been saying for years, like put one on 3DS. Like there's a camera, you've got gyro controls. You could do that in Pokemon Snap if I don't even know if they're going to do that in this Switch one, but I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be, and they're calling it New Pokemon Snap. That's the full name.
Yeah. As one of the few Wii U owners, I was a little surprised they didn't put it on there.
Absolutely.
You literally had your own screen, your own camera.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cool things you could do with the Wii U, which wasn't really utilized very often, was if you had something on screen, they could do it where if you stood up, if you kind of just walked around a circle like this, it was like it would change the perspective. It was like holding up your camera on a phone and just kind of walking around. You would see 360 degrees around you.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about the 3DS, which I do happen to have right here at my desk. And playing Ocarina of Time 3D on this is great because you can use the gyro controls to aim the slingshot and the bow and arrow, which is usually faster and a little more accurate than trying to use the Dad, I feel like you'd hate this because I'm pretty sure you never played on a 3DS, but this has like a flush, right there kind of thumb pad that you can push around an analog stick. So it's great, obviously, because it allows the whole thing to be slimmer and whatever, but it is not great for aiming in first person, as you might imagine. So being able to just take this and like move where you want it to shoot and then you just shoot is great.
Yeah, that's cool.
And speaking of Star Fox, I've got
that
like slotted in right now.
Yeah, Star Fox 64 is one of my favorite games. That thing was just amazing.
It's amazing. It's an amazing game.
I don't really want to get into how you kick my ass, both of you.
Oh yeah, you never stood a chance.
No.
Look, have you played? Do you have Splatoon 2?
I borrowed that from a friend and played a lot of it, but then like over the course of a couple weekends, and then I couldn't get down with the fact that maps weren't available all the time. Like all the maps weren't available regularly, and
I love the schedule. It's kind of weird, but yeah,
it's a weird model. But I can also totally see people getting enveloped in the regular release schedule of having like, these maps are live this weekend or this week or whatever. Or even on specific days, I guess there were different maps. And like for me, like if I'm going to spend time with a competitive shooter, especially, I kind of just want to like go, and like play a couple hours of it at a time, and not a couple hours each day, but like a couple hours on one day in 1 week or whatever. And a lot of times I'd end up seeing the same maps when I come back to it, and I was just like, well, this is kind of boring.
What's kind of weird if you download Nintendo's phone app, they have a Splatoon part of it.
Yes,
and it tells you, like right now, it tells you which maps they're using.
That actually, would be really helpful.
And it tells you when they switch.
Sure.
But that game is interesting because I never play like competitive online. Like team type games like that, and when they announced it, I had no interest in it. I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't like those games. And then they had a demo of it, and I tried doing the demo, and it was a thing where you move with one stick, you aim with the other. I was like, I can't even do it. I don't know how people do it. I have no skill at that. And then I realized they had a gyro control, and I flipped that on, and all of a sudden, I was really good at the game. It was
game changer. Literally a game changer.
It was.
Yeah, I love the everything about that game, from the music to the aesthetic to the just the gameplay itself. I really enjoyed playing quite a bit, but like I just couldn't get into it for the long term. But I enjoyed my time with it for sure.
Yeah. So and every time there's a game coming out, like Resident Evil or something like that, first question is, does it have Splatoon gyro controls?
Really, that's what you look for like if you're gonna play it on a Nintendo. Oh yeah, I got you that shirt.
You did.
What are you buying?
Listen to some of those in our themes.
You mentioned Resident Evil 4, I think, in your last episode.
Yeah, $20 right now. Still on? No, it's not on sale anymore.
Jeff, right? Did you say you had played that one as well?
I had it on GameCube. I played a little bit of it, and I didn't like it. And then I just rebought it on a Switch. It was on sale, I think, last week.
Yeah,
for $15 or something, maybe.
Yeah.
When I tell friends of mine that my dad has 100%ed Resident Evil 4, that like earns you a lot of cred, because that is just like that's a beloved game. Like people love that Resident Evil in particular.
Well, a big shout out to your sister. Hi, Laura. We'll be talking to her sometime. She's a big gamer too. One of our favorite stories is when we were playing Bloody
Roar.
I'm sorry. I have Bloody Wolf in my head. That was
right. Sure. We were talking about TurboGrafx earlier. Yeah.
Right. Bloody Roar. We were playing that, and your mom called us in for dinner. Called you guys in for dinner. I'd stepped away. Called you in for dinner. She goes, "Hold on, Mom." She's 9 years old. We're in the middle of a death match. But what was I going to say?
Talking about Bloody Roar. Talking about
Resident Evil. Resident Evil. I was playing Resident Evil 4. I'm a big Re4 fan. I love it, and I loved playing it. I played hours of it, and I hadn't gotten to the pinnacle until your sister walked through the room down here, as a matter of fact, while I had the game on and warming up before I started playing. And she goes, "Dad, I think there's a gun you don't have." I'm like, "I've got all the guns."
I have unlocked all the guns. Please, my daughter.
She goes, "No, there's one you don't have." She goes, "It goes on your arm and it charges." I just saw it do it. I just saw it on there. I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Was it in like the scripted bit that plays in the beginning or something?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're previewing something you don't even have. You can't even get in the regular game. You have to go to the merc settings, and you have to do all 4 mercs and you have to do a
5-star
certain amount in every merc level.
Right? Don't you have to get 5-star on each level?
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Yes. Good memory. And then you get what I call the right hand of God, because it charges. So you can look forward to that when you buy Res 4 for your Switch, like Jeff has. Then you can do that. Charges like crazy, and then it'll kill. I mean, everything. Every boss is done with one shot. It's great the first time through, but if you do it again, it's a little boring. So yeah. So is there anything else we want to do? We're running a little over than usual. Usual being our last 2 times.
Yeah.
We can go for an even 90, but
I'm not sure we have a usual yet.
Because it is the Switch.
Logan, there's a lot to talk about with the Switch in general.
What about it?
It's just a lot to talk about.
The one thing I realized I found out too about headphones, of course, the first thing I want to know is if I can listen to my Bluetooth headphones. And you can't just Bluetooth headphones, but there is the USB port. So if you do have headphones that come with a USB bug that you put in, that's how you can do it.
Right.
You can connect through that. But
there are some headsets that do it, I think.
Yeah, and some do. Some you can use like a PS. There's some of the PS headphones. There's a listing online that I saw.
There's a company called Genki. They make a Bluetooth adapter. It plugs into the bottom of your Switch.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it is possible if you use a third-party thing like that.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because I love using the headphones because I'm really wow. Look at me. I'm really into the sound of it. I really like it. I like I'm a music head. I've been this COVID thing is it's a crappy thing, but man, I'm like music all day, every day, doing house things with my headphones on. And I love it.
One weird thing about the Switch that I've noticed, at least for me, and I've heard other people say this, I have finished more games on the Switch than any other system.
That's interesting.
Maybe combined because it's just weird. I don't know. I guess because it's portable, I don't have to stop playing.
Right. Right.
I've finished so many games. It's like I've finished I finished Ocarina of Time.
The Breath of the Wild.
And I've put in well over 100 hours, and I never play a game for 100 hours. I usually just play for short times. I'm usually not into big open worlds like that. But that game, I don't know. It was
is just beautiful.
Because when you start the game, you have nothing. You're like in a pair of shorts, and that's about it.
Yep.
And you literally have to go see these like monsters at a campfire, and you have to sneak up on them and like steal their weapon or use a stick, do something to kill one of them, and then grab their weapon.
Yeah.
And then that's where you go from there. And then you keep upgrading over and over.
And let's reiterate, in your shorts.
In your shorts.
I like shorts. They're comfortable and easy easy to wear.
Well, that's why you can accomplish the mission, because they're comfortable. I'm just kicking back, monsters in the fire, take their crap in my shorts.
Yeah. You're not doing that in a pair of slacks.
No, or dungarees. Not happening. The slacks. No, what would you call that? It would be Zelda slacks of.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. Still waiting over here.
Oh.
Legendary slacks.
Oh, sure. Okay.
There you go. Zelda, legendary slacks.
Yeah.
Slacks of time.
Ooh, dungarees of destiny.
I have one other thing I'd like to bring up about the Switch, particularly.
Overalls of evil. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jeff, I noticed on this channel you have another video that shows off all your various Joy-Con colors, and I have to say I'm Joy-Con envy is real over here. I love all the various colors that have come out for it, and I think you did that. It looked like I think you had done it with the purple and orange when those came out.
I think that was the last I got. I didn't get the blue-yellow.
The blue-yellow combo.
Only because I already have yellow.
Yeah, so the only ones I have are the red and blue neon ones that came with the system, and then I bought the ARMS, yellow ones that I keep on most of the time. Yeah. My favorite combination
right now
is that's a nice combination. Yeah, I love that. I love that orange because that orange is so close to the spice orange GameCube.
That's if I had to get one GameCube, or I already have a couple, but I had to get another one. It'd be orange spice.
The orange one, yes, that's such a good color. So in fact, I've thought about getting a new Joy-Con very recently because I have had a lot of the Joy-Con drift issues. I'm sure you've heard about that.
Yeah, I've had some of that.
It is such a pain. I mean, granted, I looked up some pretty easy tutorials out there about just using like a cotton swab to get up under there and kind of clean the sensor a little bit. But and for my yellow left Joy-Con that worked. For is it the red one? Yeah, no, it's the blue one. The blue one though, that one's mostly a lost cause unless I crack it open and clean it, I think at this point.
Have you called Nintendo? Because
I thought about it, but then they put out a thing about how they're not doing any sort of repairs right now whatsoever.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
This was in the drift started in like March.
Because I know before that they had so many complaints that even if it was old, they were just taking it and fixing
it. Yes, and I remember that, and I was like, "Oh, it should work." Oh, they're not taking any repairs right now because their like Seattle office or whatever is where they take a lot of repairs locally, or I guess nationally in country here. They were closed. It may not be the case anymore. Maybe I should look into it again. But the other thing, the weirdest thing for me, is that first of all, I have a Pro controller as well that I love. I think it's my second favorite controller of all time. It's a really fantastic piece of hardware, I think, except for the fact that I was using it on both my PC and my Switch simultaneously originally. And so I had a Pro controller before that then broke. It just completely shorted out somehow, like no longer took a charge. I ordered a new battery, which, fun fact, it's just the same battery that's in the 3DS. And ordered a new battery, put it in there, didn't do anything, just completely wouldn't accept charge and power on whatsoever. And so I actually ended up selling that one for parts online, and I got a new one. And then around the same time, earlier this year in March, I was experiencing the drift on my Joy-Con. I also started experiencing slight drift on whenever I push down and to the right a little bit on the Pro controller, it drifts that direction. It's a real pain. I can't believe that my Pro controller of all controllers is the one that has also gotten a drift problem.
I think I've had that too. I know I've had it on Joy-Cons, but I think it did happen on my Pro controller. But mine is it just comes and goes. It's usually not there. It's ever so often.
Right.
I won't be doing anything, and all of a sudden my character starts drifting. I'm like, what the?
Right.
Right.
But I have never experienced that with one of these. Like, never experienced it with a PS4, PS3 controller, anything like that. Only with the Switch stuff.
Yeah, I think it's unique to Switch.
It either is unique to the Switch, or it's like because everybody's talking about it and it's such a prevalent issue that I haven't noticed it on previous controllers or something. I can tell you the N64 controllers did drift a little bit too, but that's because those analog sticks were, frankly, quite garbage.
Yeah, I think sometimes it just got stuck a little bit.
Yeah, well, I just remember they would get loose.
Well, I know one last thing I wanted to say. It's kind of. Did you guys see the free game Nintendo drop?
I did. The jump rope game. Yeah, I haven't downloaded it yet, but I would like. I'll do it right now.
It just cracks me up because Nintendo's so different from any other video game company.
Yes.
They released a game where you jump rope as a bunny.
Yep.
Oh shoot!
And that is it.
That's it. That's the whole game. It's called Jump Rope Challenge.
You do it once a day. You can set how many jumping jacks. Yeah, how many jumping jacks or jumping jacks? How many jump ropes you want to do? And you just do them, and that's it.
I'm downloading it right now. Now, I was hesitant to get it. I'll still get it, and I'll try it out. But I do live above someone, so there's that to consider.
We do too. But the jumping jacks, if you do 100, I don't know what it takes. It's a minute.
As long as you do them at midnight, 2 a.m.
Right, 2 a.m, and above where their bedroom is, it'll be great.
Yeah, that's always the best.
I go to the beginning of our hallway that's just off of the family room.
Sure.
So I figure if I'm bouncing and shaking there, it's not going to bother the person as much because they'd have to be in the hallway at the time.
It's very considerate of you.
Unless you're their cat and that's where you sleep. Thanks.
Yeah, so it's just a weird. They said some of their developers, when they were home for the COVID stuff, they weren't moving around much and exercising, so they just made their own little exercise game. And Nintendo said, "Well, we'll just throw it out on Switch."
Yeah,
kind of cool.
Yeah, I tried. So just before all this happened, all the COVID stuff, my friend James, again from work, he got Ring Fit Adventure, which I had considered getting, but I was like, I don't know. And then he was doing a lot of out-of-country travel just before all this stuff hit. And I was like, well, if you're not going to bring Ring Fit with you, could I borrow it and just give it a go? I would like to see if I actually enjoy it and to see how gimmicky it might be. And no, that's a real way to work out. I think it genuinely works up a sweat, and it's also just a pretty fun. They've gamified it very well. I think.
I have it. I like it a lot. It's they did a great job of making it fun to get up and move around.
Yeah. Now, of course, you can't buy it anywhere. It's completely sold out everywhere.
There's some guys I talked about the Switch with online, and one of them's been trying to get Ring Fit Adventures for months. And it came out, I think, earlier this week, and it was gone in a blink of an eye.
Well, and I've heard that it's the same with Switch availability as well, because I have a friend who's actually trying to get a Switch to finally play Breath of the Wild, and every time it's basically the way he's explaining it, because he's looked into it, is that it's just bots. People have programs or whatever, bots camping out on ready to go on websites. Just as soon as it's available, they snatch it up, and then they just it's scalping. That's all it is. They scalp it, and then they sell it for more money. It's terrible.
Yeah, that stinks. It's amazing how hard some of the stuff's. How hard is to find still?
Yeah, I agree.
When you guys were talking about the Joy-Cons earlier, what's the average price for a pair of Joy-Cons?
Well, they retail for $80.
Yeah, sometimes you get them on sale.
You can get them on sale. I would say I would say typically I would see them at 70 or maybe 65 at best.
Yeah, I've gotten some on sale.
And where do you get them on sale?
I may have gotten some at. I don't think it was Amazon. It may have been GameStop.
Okay.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, GameStop's actually where I picked up the yellow ones when I got them. I was just wanting them the day they came out and just walked over to a GameStop and got them.
Okay, I might have to look into that. So just checking.
That purple and orange combo is like superb. I think it's such a to be honest, I wish the purple was just like also a very like they just took the purple from the GameCube and made it that, and then they would just be to me the ultimate GameCube tribute pair. But it is what it is. I still think the purple is very nice looking.
Yeah, I use the purple and orange to play Luigi's Mansion 3.
Nice.
I just had a very fall Halloween-y kind of feel.
Yeah, that's another one that I'd like to like
Halloween-y.
I'd love to just like pick that right. I'd love to pick that up sometime. I've heard it's again on the podcast that I listen to. Some of them have kids and they've mentioned that Luigi's Mansion 3 was just like an awesome experience to play with your kids.
I think it's one of my favorite games on the Switch by far. It's right up there with some of the big guys because there's like, I don't know whether it's 16, 17 floors to the hotel. Mm-hmm. Every one is like its own game. It's completely different from the next.
That's cool.
And they all have their own boss. All the bosses are completely different. You don't do anything pretty much the same from floor to floor. I mean, the basic mechanics are the same, but the environments are so different. The puzzles are so different. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole bunch of online stuff for it, which I haven't really played, but the single player is just great.
Nice.
$60 for it, and then also they have multiple.
Just throw the price check constantly. I love it. It's just like ready to go. Jeff, why aren't you putting those on the board there? You got Luigi's Mansion $360.
So they have and then they have a multiplayer pack that's $10 extra.
That's probably because they have DLC for it. That's probably the DLC price.
Okay.
They do have online that comes with the game, and then they released recently DLC that adds more online to it. There is, if you ever play it,
gives you both.
If you ever play it, I won't tell you what it is, but there's an interesting moral dilemma that you come across at some point in the game. And I've asked everyone I know that's played it, I've asked them about this to see what decision they made, just to find out. But if you ever play it,
have you had to unfriend any of those people based on the answer?
I think we all did the same thing, which is kind of because I want to know what happens if you do the other.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's like the ghost on Animal Crossing when he wigs out and there goes all his spirits.
Yeah.
So I collected them all and I went back to him. Well, I had one of my options was to say, nah, I'm going to keep them. And he's like, whoa, what? And he's like, I really need him back. You're like, no, not doing it.
I don't understand this feud that you and Mom both have with Wisp. He is just trying to give you free stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I'm a dog.
It's ethereal essence.
I'm a dog at that point, and he's making me run around and grab all his crap again. So I just decided.
To be fair, you scared him, so.
Yeah, by walking right up to his face and pushing a button. So it's like me going like right now going, boo. And then you guys getting really freaked out. But I did tell him no. So ultimately, though, he gets caught in a cycle. So if anybody's thinking about telling him no, ultimately he just gets stuck in a cycle where he says he's going to kill your not kill your family. Just says, you got to give it back to me.
Animal Crossing tips from Stu, the Viking Stu.
You guys use speaking of Wisp, like Gulliver, he does this kind of the same thing. I don't give his stuff back.
Really?
Because if you don't give it back, I did the first time, but after that, if you don't give it back, the parts rust.
Yes, and you need the rusted parts for the robot.
Yeah, so that's how I've been trying to collect for him.
Yeah,
you get 5 at a time.
I probably will do that going forward because I just want that robot to be completed finally. And
I'm sick of him having an issue. I'm like, dude, take care of this. What's your problem?
Stop getting drunk with your buddies and falling off your shit.
I'm enabling you by giving these back.
Yeah, right? You need to learn from your mistakes, young man.
You go buy another one. And then maybe when you run out of money, you'll stop.
Yeah. Talk to Tom Nook. He'll take care of
you. Yeah. Get some Nookie.
Isabel. She won't do anything for you.
No.
Don't talk to Isabel.
Don't talk bad about Isabel right now is what I'm going to tell you about.
I'm telling you, I'll be eager to know from people watching what is your least favorite we're going to do Animal Crossing show. Don't worry about it. We will do Animal Crossing show. And I probably should save this till then, but who is your least favorite? And then
least favorite what?
Like main character, like recurring.
Yeah.
And NPC, I guess they're all NPCs technically, but
yeah, because Isabel, vote her off my island right now.
Hey, you know what? No, you better stop that right now. And
you ready?
See you in about 2 weeks. And
this is a whole new game. Now we're into Punch Out.
I will punch your lights out. So
I got the original Mike Tyson.
Isabel is a queen, and you should respect her. And
no.
You should not look to.
No.
Do not argue with me on this. Don't argue with me on this.
I'm not arguing. There's nothing to argue.
She is wonderful and beautiful, and she is my favorite character to play in Smash Brothers. First of all, and she is a treasure. So there should be nothing. You should just stop. You should just not. With it.
Well, that's 2 against 1 because Jeff, what did you say to me the other day?
She doesn't do anything. Half time I go in that building, she's asleep.
She's asleep, and then how she start the majority of her new responsibility that Tom Nook has no time to do because he can do one construction job at a time.
And then every
he shows up.
The TV show she watches, it's like I don't.
Yeah. There's no news today. Like 5 out of 7 days. There's no real news today. I did get a new magazine. I'm like, I don't care.
I will not stay
showing me the magazine.
I will not sit here and let you guys berate Isabel.
Hey, I don't berate her as a person. Wonderful, charming. She just doesn't do anything.
She, first of all, there's a number of things that she does. One will tell you when there is a special event on a day.
We need to get the chant going.
She will let you know when somebody's moving in, moving out. Those are all essential functions. That's just one part.
Okay.
Second, she lets you know about your island rating, which, to be fair, bit of a frustrating process, but she always is helpful in what you're missing to get to your 5-star island. As somebody who took her advice and got to a 5-star island, I can tell you, very helpful. And then she gives you the recipe for the gold watering can. Also a huge plus. That's a big thing that she gives you.
And why do you need the gold watering can?
The gold watering can is the best watering can that you can have. It waters more flowers at a time, and I think it might contribute to hybrids. I'm not into the flower stuff as much.
Oh, might contribute to hybrids. Okay. Your mom's got one. You made her that?
Yes, I made her the gold watering can afterward. I gave it to her.
Like his mother more. I don't have one.
Oh, it's because it was Mother's Day. Maybe you'll get one tomorrow.
Oh, it's coming.
Maybe not. So aside from that, she can also I'll tell you, her other functionalities don't necessarily come into play unless you get a villager from somebody else's island. Like how you guys got Rodney from Travis's island.
I love that guy.
If Rodney came plugged in with like some swear words in his greetings or something that Travis put in there, Travis would do anything of the sort. But let's say he did, and you didn't want those greetings on Rodney anymore. You would go talk to Isabel about that, and he would change his attitude, and you could change his catchphrase.
See, I wouldn't do that because I let Rodney be Rodney.
I'm just saying there is more to Isabel than maybe first meets the eye.
I don't need that bee going around and telling my people what to do.
I'm going to hang up. Bye.
You wouldn't do that to me right before Father's Day, would you?
I'm going to send Rossetti on your ass.
Hey, wait. You wait. Jeff's going to have somebody to show you. So you watch it. Jeff doesn't know this.
I don't know what you mean.
What about what?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you got much of anything there, Pops.
Oh, I got something.
Fight me and smash, and I'll whoop you with Isabel.
No, you've already totally whooped me, and that's why I got Brawlhalla, because you don't want to play.
Oh, Isabel's in Brawlhalla, didn't you know?
Son of a monkey. Doing nothing, I'm sure. That's why I never see her. She's not doing it. She's sleeping in her office.
I don't
looking at her magazine, watching a movie that I'll never see with her.
You guys are gonna get this show's gonna get canceled so quick.
Who talks for 5 minutes before we can even start the game?
Can't talk crap on Isabel on the internet. It's just not.
Too bad.
It isn't done. Do you understand? It is not done.
Oh, well, then you better be happy that you're here for the history. History in the making. What you buying? An excuse for Isabel. Why's she here? Celia, what do you think?
Do you like Isabel?
I do like Isabel.
Of course, because you're a genuinely nice human being, unlike my father, obviously.
Hey, I'm
just tied up 2-2 now.
I'm just.
Oh, trust me, I can bring in some help if you want.
She needs all the help she can get. Yeah, when she mentions how to clean up your island, I'm like, why don't you get out there and pick them up? You're just in here sleeping. Why don't you pick up 10 sticks while you're out running around crapping about my island?
You're just being contrarian at this point. I won't acknowledge it.
You won't? Are you sure?
No.
Just a little bit? But no, that's No,
I don't know.
One last, I don't know. Do you have any last questions? Any last things to say?
No, I said what I wanted to say. Obviously, you said what you wanted to say.
What's the coolest thing you got that you've caught on Animal Crossing?
The coolest thing?
Yeah.
That I've caught or collected or what?
Okay. Caught in the water.
Like one of the fish?
Yeah.
Well, last night I was playing, and I've caught everything you can catch up until now. I think my favorite thing to catch is the definitely good time.
I did get a fly because of that.
Right? Boot. Tin can boot. Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't put DOS in front of that.
Broken glasses. I mean, that's Stardew Valley. I'm thinking of. I love catching the Arapaima right now. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
Those are amazing.
Yeah, when you get those out of the river, just
out of the river.
Monstrous fish. That's like as big as a whale shark is in Animal Crossing. Yeah. Not in real life, but it's still boot for Jeff, I think.
Give me one can. One. I'm gonna catch me an Isabel.
I won't stand for it. The Isabel hate has gone on long enough.
It's only started. What about you, Jeff? What was something cool that you catch?
Only because I didn't know it existed, because it was early on. That what's that big, the huge
the oarfish.
Yeah, because I didn't know it existed, and when I was pulling out of the water, this huge thing just kept going and going and going. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah,
monster coming out of the water.
Yeah, and that's the thing I look at the most when I'm thinking about that game. I'm thinking it's really cool that all these things actually exist, and I never even knew it. I mean, great white, I knew, I know about them, but it's cool to see that. But that oarfish and the Arapaima, however you say that, the Arnold Palmer.
The Arnold Palmer. Yeah, the Arnold Palmer fish.
I caught the Arnold Palmer.
So I caught one of those Arnold Palmers the other day.
I was gonna say, Dad, the one that I did not know about before catching it was the barrel eye fish. Have you caught that one yet?
Oh, I think so.
I think it's the barrel eye is what it's called. It's a deep sea fish. If you haven't, look it up for real. It is some wild stuff to look at. It has a translucent head. Or rather, a transparent. It's transparent.
Really?
Yes. You can see its eyeballs.
Then no, we have not.
You catch it in the sea any time of of the year.
How to find and capture a barrel eye?
Caught it. I was lucky enough to catch it within the first couple of weeks.
Wow. No, we do not have that.
You should. Can you see what it looks like for real in real life?
I only caught it once. So.
Oh my gosh! Wait, what is going on there?
It's got a transparent head.
Yeah. Okay. No.
It's a crazy looking thing.
Barrel eye fish, Animal Crossing. Images.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
That's wicked weird, man.
It's crazy, dude. Like, it is a wild looking fish.
It's all bloaty.
Looks like he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
He looks like he is a helmet.
Or like it's like a robot fish that has a operating dome.
Those green eyes, those look like buttons to push.
Yeah.
The shiny red candy-like button. Oh, look, they have a swordfish too you can catch.
Yeah.
A blue marlin. Son of a monkey. I gotta get one of those. The coelacanth, that's what I got. I fished that one out the other day. That was cool. I had no idea I was gonna get that.
I think I know the pronunciation for that one. I think it's coelacanth, actually.
How can that be? It's got a O.
It's a weird one.
This is one of those things.
Just one of those ones.
It's like the word through.
No English. English doesn't care.
Yeah, we're gonna have THRU. No, THOR. Throw.
Now,
no,
Jeff,
gonna put a G on it.
you just typed in our chat about Golf Story, and that I actually have a big gripe with. I wanted to love that game because I love a golf game, but and so by any stretch of the imagination, I should have loved Golf Story. It was one of the first games I bought in 2017 because I was like, it's a cheap indie game. People seem to love it. It's got some disc golf in it. Like, that's kind of crazy. I hate the way that game controls. I think that game controls like utter garbage.
Wow.
Even the golf part?
Even the golf part. Well, the golf part's like okay. The disc golf is terrible.
So you're saying this golf game equals Isabel.
Okay, you need to just shut your mouth.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
So,
It was right there. It was.
But I wanted to love this game, and like I got, and like also it's supposed to be like an RPG a little bit, right? Like a golf RPG more or less, and it just plays to me terribly, and I didn't enjoy the story. I thought that the characters were not fun, and I also wasn't in love with the art style of the pixel art that they did. So that is the one game from my system that I have downloaded, played, and deleted off my system.
That's one of my favorite indie games.
I love that for you. I'm so happy for you, Jeff. I am. Because like I said, I wanted to love that game. I thought it looked so cool and interesting.
They have another game coming out this summer. It's supposed to be this summer.
Best of luck to them. I hope I like this one.
Probably not. It's a sports story. It looks like it's very similar. Except they add a whole bunch of sports instead of just golf.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I have seen this. Yeah, and I remember seeing this going like, well, I guess I'm not going to play that one.
$15.
Again, I hate to say that. Like again, I hope that it is good. I hope that people enjoy it. I just like
sports story.
I just hated Golf Story. I just did not like it.
Wow.
So,
Logan, I also threw my Switch code in there for you.
Oh, trust me, I already added you.
Okay. All right. I guess we're about done then, huh?
Yeah. Logan, what are you wearing today? Do you wear a special shirt for our show today?
No.
Oh man.
It's just
where do you get these guests?
Listen, we're in the middle of a quarantine still. You're lucky I put clothes on at all.
Or at least you could have showed up in your shorts.
I do have shorts on.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you, Zelda.
Maybe next time we'll just do the show bare-chested. Oh,
nobody needs that. Wait, you don't. we don't need Logan canceling the show. We don't need to do that and cancel the show either.
Right. Oh, I'm not going to cancel you.
I got a great idea. Let's just play some copywritten music too.
Yeah, right.
Copywritten. So what was it? The bare chest? The copywritten music?
It was everything.
The love of Isabel? What was it? All right. Logan, thanks for being on Go Game Go.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, this was great.
And Jeff, watch your mail for something special.
All right.
And nice shirt. There, we talked about in the first episode. That's the band that brought me and Jeff together as brothers and got it all started.
I had to make this myself. I had to go online and find the logo as good as I could get, and then I just recreated it because I don't know. I can't really get the shirt anywhere. So
right, I think for
because this is the original shirt design that they had.
Yeah. Although I wish mine would say "get the knack" underneath it.
Always add it.
We'll work on that.
Okay.
But that's on your site, right? If you want to get a Go Game Go shirt, you can go to
what is it?
T
Public.
Yep.
Yeah, and the store is Go Game Go.
Yep. So check that out. You can get yourself a knack shirt like that. You can get a Go Game Go shirt, which I'll be getting one soon, and a knack shirt. I smell Father's Day. And in the meantime, watch for us again. We'll be coming back. We got some cool shows coming up, some great subject matter and other guests, and we'll bring Logan back no matter what he thinks of Isabel. And
we'll have
this is you right now, Dad. You just digging that grave. Like
maybe I get a T-shirt with Isabel with X's on her eyes or something like that. Tom Nook for president. I'm sorry. I've got all kinds of T-shirt ideas for Isabel now. I can't do it. All right, guys. Everybody out there, have a great rest of the weekend.
All right. See you guys. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
All right. Bye.